Hey everyone, and welcome back to Investing Talk podcast. Today, we're going to be looking at a company that's been making some serious waves in the medical imaging world, Butterfly Network, ticker symbol BFLY. Now, you know how sometimes a stock just kind of seems to appear out of nowhere? That's Butterfly Network right now. It's more than doubled in the past year. Hit a 52-week high of $3.78 on January 2nd, 2025. That's a 194% return, which is pretty remarkable. But is there more to this story than just like a hot stock? Let's find out.
Yeah, what's interesting here is that this surge in Butterfly Network's stock price is being driven by more than just hype. Their recent Q3 2024 earnings report was stellar. It actually exceeded analysts' expectations.
Right. They reported a 33% year-over-year revenue increase, hitting $20.6 million. That beat analyst expectations by a solid 8.2%. Seems like there's a real demand for these portable ultrasound devices, particularly those IQ3 probes.
Absolutely. And what's really driving this demand is that the IQ3 probes are opening up ultrasound technology to like a much broader market. Think about it. Medical professionals in a variety of settings, from rural clinics to emergency response teams, can have access to this powerful diagnostic tool right in their pocket. That accessibility is a game changer.
It's incredible to think about the possibilities. This portable technology really has the potential to democratize medical imaging. But can Butterfly Network turn this momentum into long-term success? They've set a pretty ambitious goal of reaching $500 million in revenue within 5 years.
That's a bold target, especially considering they're not currently profitable. Their Q3 report showed an adjusted EBITDA loss of $8.4 million. However, there is a positive trend of improvement. It'll be interesting to see how their new subsidiary Octave contributes to their growth strategy.
Octave is a fascinating development. It seems like Butterfly Network is looking beyond just traditional healthcare settings to bring ultrasound technology to new sectors. Do you think this expansion strategy is going to resonate with investors?
Oh, it's definitely a move that's caught the attention of investors. By venturing into these new markets, Butterfly Network is signaling its ambition to become a major player in the broader ultrasound technology space. And this diversification could be key to achieving those ambitious revenue goals.
Okay, so we've got a company with a hot product, ambitious goals, and a strategic expansion plan. But let's take a closer look at where Butterfly Network stands right now in terms of its stock performance.
All right, as of January 3rd, 2025, BFLY is trading at $4.32, which is a significant jump of 8.94% from the previous close. We're also seeing strong trading volume, with over 5 million shares traded yesterday, well above the average.
Yeah, that high volume definitely suggests a lot of interest in the stock. Now, what about those key technical indicators? What can you tell us about the 50-day and 200-day moving averages?
So the 50-day moving average is sitting at $2.87, and the 200-day moving average is at $1.59. Both are significantly below the current trading price, which is generally considered a bullish signal. However, we also see an RSI of around 65.51, suggesting the stock might be approaching overbought territory.
Interesting. So while the stock has shown strong performance, there might be a possibility of a price correction soon.
Yeah, it's certainly something to consider. Additionally, the MACD is showing some signs of flattening momentum, and the stochastic oscillator is also hinting at the stock nearing those overbought levels.
So it seems like we've got a mixed bag of signals here. We have strong performance above the key moving averages and robust trading volume, which are positive, but at the same time, certain indicators point toward a potential price correction in the short term.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
Butterfly Network is on this incredible upward trajectory, but it might need to take a breather soon to catch its breath.
Okay, that makes sense. Now let's zoom out a bit and consider the broader market outlook for 2025. What's the overall sentiment like?
Well, projections for major indexes like the Nasdaq, S&P 500, and Dow Jones are generally positive. Analysts are anticipating continued gains, driven by advancements in artificial intelligence and favorable economic conditions. This positive sentiment, especially towards small-cap stocks in the healthcare sector, could benefit a company like Butterfly Network.
So Butterfly Network has innovative technology, strong growth potential, and a favorable market wind at its back. It's a pretty compelling story. But of course, every investment has its own set of risks. What are some potential downsides investors should consider?
Well, first and foremost, Butterfly Network is not yet profitable. While their revenue is growing, they're still operating at a loss. Investors need to be comfortable with that level of risk.
And what about competition? Are there other companies out there doing what Butterfly Network is doing?
Absolutely. The medical imaging space is very competitive. There are large established players like GE Healthcare and Philips, as well as smaller innovative companies, all vying for market share. Butterfly Network's going to need to stay ahead of the curve, continue to innovate, and prove that their technology is not just a fad, but a real game changer.
That's a great point. They can't just rest on their laurels. They need to keep pushing the boundaries. Another factor to consider is market volatility, right?
Definitely. The stock market can be unpredictable, and BFLY has shown some significant price swings in recent months. We saw that just yesterday with a day low of $3.98 and a high of $4.44. Investors need to be prepared for potential ups and downs and have a clear understanding of their risk tolerance.
All right, so we've covered Butterfly Network's growth potential, their exciting technology, the market trends, and the risks involved. What does this all mean for you, the potential investors listening? Should you buy BFLY?
Well, Butterfly Network is a fascinating company with a lot of momentum. They're disrupting the medical imaging industry with these portable ultrasound devices, and their growth trajectory is impressive. But it's important to approach any investment with a balanced perspective.
Meaning?
Meaning you should do your own research, delve into the company's financials, understand their competitive landscape, and most importantly, consider your own risk tolerance. Don't just jump on the bandwagon because the stock price is soaring.
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of things to keep an eye on, there's one more event on the horizon that could impact Butterfly Network's stock.
You're talking about the 43rd annual JP Morgan Healthcare Conference happening from January 13th to 16th, 2025.
That's the one. Butterfly Network's going to be presenting there. And you can bet investors will be watching closely to see what they have to say about their future plans. This event could provide valuable insights that might influence your investment decision.
It's definitely something to mark on your calendars. The JP Morgan Healthcare Conference is always a major event in the healthcare industry, and Butterfly Network's presentation could provide a significant catalyst for their stock. It'll be interesting to hear how they plan to navigate that competitive landscape and reach those ambitious revenue goals.
All right, I'm ready to hear what Butterfly Network has to say. This has been an incredible look at Butterfly Network, ticker symbol BFLY. What are your final thoughts on the company? Anything in particular stand out to you?
For me, it's their commitment to expanding access to medical imaging through their technology. That's a powerful mission, and one that could change healthcare as we know it. It's not just about profits, it's about making a real impact on people's lives.
I love that. And for me, it's their incredible stock performance this past year.
Yeah.
Over 194% return. That's the kind of growth that gets investors really excited. But as we've discussed, it's essential to balance that excitement with a healthy dose of caution and due diligence.
Wise words.
It definitely is a company to watch. So for our listeners who are looking for their next big investment opportunity, what would you say are the key takeaways from our discussion today?
I think the biggest takeaway is that Butterfly Network is a company with a lot of potential, but it's not without risks. Their portable ultrasound technology is innovative and disruptive, and their growth trajectory is impressive. But they are operating in a competitive market and are not yet profitable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And investors need to consider those factors carefully before making any decisions. They need to do their own research, look beyond the hype, and assess whether Butterfly Network aligns with their investment goals and risk tolerance.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a high-flying stock, but it's crucial to remember that investing always involves risk. A thorough understanding of the company, its financials, and the market dynamics, it's essential.
I completely agree. And speaking of understanding the company, I'm curious to hear more about what you find particularly interesting about Butterfly Network's mission. You mentioned earlier that their commitment to expanding access to medical imaging stood out to you.
Yes, that's right. I believe Butterfly Network's vision goes beyond just being a successful business. They are striving to democratize healthcare by making medical imaging technology more accessible and affordable. That's a powerful mission that resonates with me.
I can see why that would be inspiring. It's not every day that you see a company with such a strong social impact at its core.
Yeah.
But how do you think this mission translates into tangible business outcomes?
That's a great question. I think Butterfly Network's focus on accessibility is a smart business strategy as well. By targeting a broader market beyond traditional healthcare settings, they are creating new revenue streams and expanding their customer base. This diversification can lead to more sustainable growth in the long run.
That makes sense. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
They are pursuing a noble mission while also positioning themselves for success in the marketplace.
Exactly. It's a compelling example of how a company can achieve both social impact and financial success.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the competitive landscape. You mentioned earlier that the medical imaging space is very competitive. What are some of the challenges Butterfly Network might face from its competitors?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is going up against those established players like GE Healthcare and Philips. These companies have a long history in the industry, deep pockets, and extensive distribution networks.
So how can Butterfly Network differentiate itself and carve out a space for itself in such a competitive market?
Their key differentiator is their portability and affordability. Their ultrasound devices are significantly smaller and less expensive than traditional machines. This makes them an attractive option for a wider range of healthcare providers, especially those in underserved areas or with limited resources.
That's a good point. They are tapping into a previously underserved market, which gives them a competitive edge. But do you think they can maintain this edge in the long run? What if those larger companies start developing their own portable and affordable devices?
That's a valid concern. To stay ahead of the curve, Butterfly Network needs to constantly innovate and improve its technology. They also need to build strong relationships with healthcare providers and demonstrate the value proposition of their products.
So it's not just about having a great product, but also about providing excellent customer service and support.
Exactly. Building trust and loyalty with customers is essential for any company, especially in a competitive market.
And let's not forget about the regulatory landscape. Navigating the complex world of healthcare regulations can be a challenge for any company, especially a young and innovative one like Butterfly Network.
Absolutely. Compliance with regulatory requirements is critical for any medical device company. Butterfly Network needs to ensure that its products meet all the necessary safety and efficacy standards.
So it's not just about developing groundbreaking technology, it's also about understanding and navigating the regulatory hurdles.
Exactly. It's a multifaceted challenge that Butterfly Network needs to address effectively to ensure its long-term success.
Now let's talk about something that gets investors really excited: stock performance. As we discussed earlier, Butterfly Network stock has seen phenomenal growth over the past year. But how do you assess the sustainability of this growth?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? While the past performance is impressive, it's not necessarily indicative of future results. To evaluate the sustainability of Butterfly Network's growth, we need to look beyond the stock price and delve into their financials, their market share, and their growth strategy.
So what are some key financial metrics that investors should be paying attention to when evaluating Butterfly Network?
Some of the key metrics to focus on are revenue growth, gross profit margin, and operating expenses. Investors should also track their cash burn rate and their progress towards achieving profitability.
That makes sense. Understanding the financial health of the company is crucial before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely. Investors need to assess whether Butterfly Network's business model is scalable and whether they have a clear path towards profitability.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: profitability. As we mentioned earlier, Butterfly Network is not yet profitable. Do you see them turning a profit in the near future?
It's difficult to say for certain. Their path to profitability depends on several factors, including their ability to scale their operations, manage their expenses, and increase their market share.
So it's a wait-and-see situation.
Yes, but it's important for investors to monitor their progress closely. Butterfly Network's management team has been vocal about their commitment to reaching profitability, and they have outlined a clear roadmap to achieve this goal.
What are some of the key milestones that investors should be watching for?
One key milestone is achieving a positive gross profit margin. This would indicate that they are selling their products at a price that covers their production costs. Another milestone is reducing their operating expenses as a percentage of revenue. This would show that they are becoming more efficient in running their business.
So it's not just about increasing revenue, but also about managing costs effectively.
Exactly. Profitability is a function of both revenue growth and cost control.
And let's not forget about the upcoming J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference Butterfly Network will be presenting there, and investors will be eager to hear about their progress towards profitability.
Absolutely. The J.P. Morgan Healthcare Conference is a major event in the healthcare industry, and Butterfly Network's presentation will be closely watched by investors and analysts alike.
It's definitely an event to mark on your calendars. Now let's talk about the broader market trends that could impact Butterfly Network. We mentioned earlier that the projections from major indexes are generally positive. How do you see these market trends playing out for a company like Butterfly Network?
I think Butterfly Network is well positioned to benefit from the positive market sentiment. As investors look for growth opportunities in the healthcare sector, Butterfly Network's innovative technology and impressive growth trajectory make them an attractive option.
So the market tailwinds are in their favor.
Yes, but it's important to remember that market conditions can change quickly. Investors need to be prepared for potential volatility and adjust their investment strategies accordingly.
That's a good point. Investing always involves risk, and it's crucial to have a long-term perspective and a diversified portfolio.
Absolutely. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and make sure your investment decisions align with your risk tolerance and your financial goals.
It really has been a fascinating look at Butterfly Network, hasn't it? We've covered a lot of ground today, from their innovative technology and impressive stock performance to the competitive landscape and the risks involved. What are some key takeaways you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think the biggest takeaway is that Butterfly Network is a company with a bold vision to democratize medical imaging. Their portable ultrasound technology has the potential to revolutionize healthcare by making this essential diagnostic tool more accessible and affordable. This is not just a business opportunity, it's a company driven by a mission to make a real difference in the world.
I completely agree. And that mission is clearly resonating with investors, as we've seen with their remarkable stock performance over the past year. However, as we've discussed, it's important for investors to approach this opportunity with a balanced perspective. What are some key questions potential investors should be asking themselves before considering Butterfly Network?
Great question. I think it's crucial to look beyond the hype and delve into the company's fundamentals. Ask yourself, do I understand their business model? Do their financials make sense to me? Am I comfortable with the level of risk involved? And perhaps most importantly, does their mission align with my own investment values?
Those are excellent points. Investing is not just about chasing returns. It's about finding companies that align with your own beliefs and goals. And Butterfly Network certainly presents a compelling case for investors who are looking to support companies that are making a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. And beyond the mission, it's crucial to understand the industry dynamics. Ask yourself, what are the key trends shaping the medical imaging landscape? Who are Butterfly Network's main competitors? What are the potential risks and challenges they face? By taking the time to answer these questions, investors can make more informed and confident decisions.
You're right, knowledge is power when it comes to investing. And speaking of knowledge, is there anything else you think our listeners should keep in mind as they explore Butterfly Network further?
One thing I'd emphasize is the importance of staying informed. The medical imaging industry is rapidly evolving, and new developments are happening all the time. Follow Butterfly Network's news and announcements, pay attention to their financial reports, and keep an eye out for industry events like the upcoming JP Morgan Healthcare Conference, where they'll be presenting.
That's a great reminder. Investing is not a passive activity. It requires active engagement and ongoing research. So to all our listeners out there, consider this your call to action. Dive deeper into Butterfly Network. Ask those tough questions and make informed decisions based on your own individual investment goals and risk tolerance.
And don't forget to enjoy the journey. Investing can be exciting, especially when you find companies like Butterfly Network that are pushing the boundaries of innovation and making a positive impact on the world.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our look at Butterfly Network, ticker symbol BFLY. What a fascinating company with a compelling story. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Investing Talk Podcast and that you're feeling inspired to learn more about this innovative company and the ever-evolving world of investing. Don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast for more insightful discussions on the companies and trends shaping the future of investing. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend who might find it valuable. We love hearing from our listeners, so please leave a comment below with your thoughts or questions about Butterfly Network. Until next time, happy investing.